Alright.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is the Instant Classic 7 again. I just wanted to make this video. I've been wanting to make it for a while, actually. Just talking to y'all out there about where I'm from as far as wrestling background. What I enjoy, what I don't enjoy, basically about wrestling. I started watching wrestling when I was probably about 7 or 8 years old. I used to just watch WCW for the most part during the whole NWO storyline with the Wolfpack and Hollywood. That's probably one of my favorite feuds of all time. I know a lot of people will come on here and say it wasn't that good, they did it wrong, blah blah blah, but I personally really enjoyed it. WCW is definitely my favorite promotion of all time. They were just it just meant a lot to me, WCW, and it was a lot of fun for me when I was a kid. So yeah, that's that. I was still into wrestling after WCW got bought out. I didn't think I was, but then I do remember still being in it. I think I was when WCW and WWE merged, or when WWE bought WCW. I became a huge Jericho fan. Jericho was like my favorite wrestler. So when I saw him win the Undisputed Championship, that was pretty cool. Then when Triple H won it, I started to just stop watching wrestling. Not because I didn't know anything about the business back then. Wasn't a smart fan or anything, but I just didn't really. I still just don't like Triple H, not because he's an ass backstage, but it's because I just haven't really. I just don't like him that much. So that's that. So I didn't watch wrestling up until late 2005. Me and my friend were at his dad's work, just searching on the computers, and one of the main articles on Yahoo, one of the big news sites, was Eddie Guerrero's death. And I was just like, wow, man, I remember that guy. He was so young, and I just can't believe that he died. So that is what first sparked my interest back into wrestling. And then my buddy, the same buddy, he talked about his cousin really being into wrestling, so I decided one week, hey, what the hell, I'll give it a try. And I think really it was the right show at the right time for me to get back into wrestling, because if it was like any other like dumb Raw or dumb SmackDown that I was watching, I probably wouldn't have gotten back into it. But just that one week I started watching, and I just fell back in love with it. I'll never forget the first segment I saw on Raw was the beginning to the Vince McMahon and Shawn Michaels storyline. That today is probably still up there with my favorite feuds of all time, and that match at WrestleMania 22 was just absolutely phenomenal. I loved every second of it. And JR's call during that match was just phenomenal. That match, just while it wasn't probably the best wrestling wise, it wasn't even the best hardcore, as far as a hardcore match goes, but it just had so much emotion, so much passion, and I mean, that's what you really look for in a wrestling show. So that's that. The first SmackDown I remember watching was when Batista got hurt, and I remember the first week I saw a battle royal to crown the new SmackDown heavyweight champion, which Kurt Angle wound up winning. So I was like, wow, man, wrestling must have got a lot better. They're changing titles, heavyweight titles on TV now. I had never really seen much of that when I was watching wrestling back in the day. So that was a pretty cool moment for me. So pretty much ever since then, I've been absolutely addicted. I started to become a smart fan in probably June of 2006. For some reason, I was on Google and I just decided to type in wrestling news, and it goes from there. Every day I regret doing that. I mean, it's nice to know all the background things of what goes on in wrestling, but it's just taken so much fun away from wrestling, just watching it for the pure enjoyment. I remember I used to watch wrestling early 06, and I was just so much I just loved it. You know, I didn't worry about whether it was a dumb storyline, what wasn't. You know, I just enjoyed wrestling for what it was. It was so much fun. So yeah, want to get into now how I got into TNA. After I got back into WWE a little bit, I decided that I was going to watch TNA. Actually, what happened was I was looking at my TiVo for more wrestling and see if there was, you know, any more promotions that had come up second to WWE, and there was. I looked under pro wrestling and there was TNA Impact, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So I remember the first weekend, not the first weekend, but the first episode I caught of Impact was the Impact after Sting's retirement, and I used to love Sting back when he was in WCW. I love watching him. He was just amazing. Sting is my favorite wrestler of all time. Actually, it's probably a two-way tie between Sting and Shawn Michaels, but Sting, I would say Sting is my favorite. And I just was like, oh my god, Sting is back in wrestling. What the hell? I have to watch this. So the whole storyline leading up to Sting coming back to wrestling and all that stuff was just amazing for me. I just absolutely loved wrestling at the time. At the end of '06, I just suffered a really burnout. I just became a huge, you know, smart mark and thought everything in wrestling became stupid. TNA was stupid. WWE was stupid. You know, I was this cynical smart mark, and that led into a little bit early '07. And, you know, I couldn't enjoy wrestling anymore. And instead of walking away from it, I decided just to really change my attitude. So about midway through last year, I just decided I'm going to be as positive as I can about wrestling. I mean, I am a TNA fan, I'm a WWE fan, I'm a Ring of Honor fan. I love wrestling. I mean, wrestling is my one true passion in life. And out of the three, the big three, I guess we can call them, my favorite is probably TNA. That's where my bias lies. But I'm still, you know, I'm going to be as positive as I can with all three companies. And that's just for that. I've been to 5 professional wrestling events since I became a fan. So those are, I went to a Raw in October of '06. I went to a Raw in April of '07. I went to the ROH Man Up taping in September of 2007. I went to WWE No Mercy in October of '07. And I went to SmackDown ECW taping on Tuesday. So those were a lot of fun. All of those shows were just really great. Those are some great, yeah. Probably my favorite show there was either when I was tagging against Batista and Undertaker, either that show or Man Up. I can never decide whether to go with. Do I enjoy more watching good wrestling, or do I rather enjoy watching one of my favorites of all time? That's the thing. So basically, I wouldn't say I'm a Ring of Honor genius, but I do follow Ring of Honor. I have about 10 DVDs randomly picked. I don't really follow chronologically, so that's that. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a little background of where I'm coming from in wrestling. So I hope you all appreciated it, and I'll be back with another video tomorrow. Thanks.